Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our presentation on Microsoft Viva. You'll see we have a couple of different ladies with us today. I am Amy Spriggs. I am the Director of Marketing Strategy for Tomorrow's Technology Today. And one of the great parts of my job is I get to MC these live events we do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be watching the comments throughout today's session. If you have any questions or anything, throw those in the comments. I will be watching that from behind the scenes, and I will ask that when I get a chance to Katie and Michaela. So today we have Katie Kramer, our project and training specialist, as always, here on our live events. But we also have a special guest, Michaela Swenson, and I am going to let Katie let you know a little more about Michaela.
Yes, so Michaela is one of our Microsoft specialists that we brought in for today. She is going to be able to walk us through kind of how to get started with Viva, and also some of the benefits of even using Viva and how it can help with your employee engagement, and kind of a little bit of a roadmap too of what is coming, because Viva is something very new to Microsoft. It's a new tool. It's kind of in response a little bit to all that we've been through the last couple of years. So it's really about that engagement piece and about your employees. So without further ado, let's flip it over to Michaela.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Katie. So we will be talking about Viva today, and we will be talking about 4 different subtopics that come along with Viva. So that's going to include Viva Topics, Viva Connections, Viva Learning, and Viva Insights, which are all tying back into your SharePoint and Teams environment. So in just a second here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to start off with just a brief introductory video as to what Microsoft Viva is and how it is truly built around the employee experience. So let's go ahead and start this video.
More than ever, people are the key to business success. But in this new world of hybrid work, it's harder than ever to engage with employees, to drive culture change, to upskill workers, and to ensure the well-being of your team. There's never been a bigger need for technology, data, and insights that are designed to create a great employee experience. That's why we built Microsoft Viva. Viva is our integrated employee experience platform that's designed to empower people and teams to be their best. Viva brings together communications, insights, knowledge, and learning within the flow of everyday work. And it's built into apps like Teams and Outlook and Office. We've designed Viva with the employee at the center and a clear focus on meeting their increasingly complex needs. We also designed Viva to respect privacy and to protect company data. As part of Microsoft 365, Viva sits in your trust boundaries, with privacy safeguards and protection for employees. Viva builds on Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Graph Extensibility Framework, so developers can leverage their existing skills. Viva provides an open and extensible platform with a strong ecosystem of partners, so it works seamlessly with your existing systems, including, and it's the list, Cornerstone On Demand, Coursera, edX, Glint, Headspace, LinkedIn, Pluralsight, Salesforce, SAP SuccessFactors, ServiceNow, Skillsoft, Slack, Workday, Zoom, and many, many more. In addition to these ISVs and content providers, we're joined on this mission by our global network of service partners like Accenture, PwC, and EY. Let's hear from some of our partners who are helping organizations like yours on their employee experience journey.
What's important is a human experience. It's important that we're putting people at the center of business. So that business can achieve those goals, they need people performing at their best. SAP, SuccessFactors, and Microsoft have a very long-standing relationship, as it will continue to be providing employees that incredible experience long into the future. This is about helping our employees be productive, learn, upskill, and continue to grow their careers by leveraging the solutions that they have right out of their homes.
Employee experience is an absolute top priority for our clients. We have a long-standing relationship and partnership with Microsoft, and I have to say I'm super excited about the new capabilities of the Microsoft Viva platform. It is really allowing us to help our clients to do more and achieve more, to better themselves both on an organizational level and on a personal level for their employees.
I think the direction that Microsoft and certainly that WM Reply are moving in is really understanding the needs of each of the different audience groups that make up an organization's workforce or people force, to make sure that they're getting the curated experience that they need to help them feel more connected, more motivated, and more productive.
The partnership between Microsoft and Cornerstone unlocks the opportunity for all people at work to be able to learn in the context of the work tools where they already are. So learning will become ubiquitous. Learning will be always on, always present, and at the fingertips of employees.
So ServiceNow helps improve employee experience in a few key ways, whether they are looking to get access to an application from IT, whether they are looking to book a workspace that they know has been sanitized and properly equipped, they can go to one place and ask that question. So using Viva, an employee can be able to pull up knowledge articles out of ServiceNow.
Microsoft Viva and Headspace are truly innovating together by injecting meditation and mindfulness tools and resources into the spaces such as Microsoft Teams where people are spending their days. So I see this partnership and Microsoft Viva and Headspace coming together as encouraging employers and influencing the industry to really look after the holistic well-being of their employees.
We couldn't be more excited to share Microsoft Viva with our customers and partners. I'm looking forward to getting your feedback and having you join us on this journey to reimagine the employee experience.
All right. Awesome. So that's just a little overview of what Viva can do for an organization, with quite a few examples of how it's already benefited so far. But let's get into the exciting part where we really take a look at an example of a Viva landing site. And if you're familiar with the term landing site, we typically utilize that when we are talking about SharePoint and SharePoint infrastructure. So here we have really revamped the new look and feel of a SharePoint site, as well as the flow of accessing all of your work resources within one location. And it has become much more intelligent than it ever has been in the past, and is now really centralized around the user. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen one more time. And this time I am going to go ahead and display an actual Viva landing page. So now you should be able to see my screen here. And what we are taking a look at is a live demo of actual Viva that we can see here. So this is what we like to call and coin a Viva landing page. And a Viva landing page, different from a regular team site on SharePoint, is actually functioning off a communication site to really drive and bring in company-wide news, resources, tasks, so on and so forth. And if there are people who are currently partnered and working with tomorrow's technology today that have seen SharePoint sites in the past, this is going to look a little bit different to you, but it's going to have the same look and feel and a lot more rich resources. If you're a first time watching this, well, this is great news for you, and I'm really excited to get into all the features that are included here as well. So as always, on a Viva landing and on any landing page, we like to aggregate the tools included with your virtual office to really bring together and tie in all of those office tools that are being utilized organization-wide. Some new features that we might see in here that we haven't seen in the past are insights. What this insights button here is actually linking us to the Viva Insights portion that is partnered with Headspace to track things like booking focus time, making sure that you are receiving time to complete work when you have some available time within your calendar. And that is all powered by AI and is very user specific. Some other new things that we will notice on this right-hand side is this My Feed area. So this My Feed is completely personalized on a user basis. One of the biggest requests that we have gotten regarding SharePoint builds to improve the environment for a working organization is that we needed more personalization to the user involved. So with Viva, and by bringing Viva into the SharePoint environment, We can now have this can be completely personal to each individual user in an organization so that it's surfacing relevant content to that specific user. Now, what we'll notice under this My Feed section is there's quite a few different ways that we can set this up. But just to take a look at what's included on this demo piece here, we have your dashboard. And under your dashboard, we can now aggregate your tasks if you are utilizing Planner org-wide, or if you're using it for personal reasons, just to keep track of your day-to-day things that you might need to complete. You can now see your assigned tasks are listed here. And again, this is all user specific. So we could go ahead and view all of our tasks right from our Viva dashboard without having to go through the rigmarole of going into office.com, locating Planner, finding the correct one. All of those are going to aggregate right here for you now. We also like to include and point out that approvals is now natively built into Viva as well. So for example, if you need an approval request for a time off, something like that, that needs to go to an upper management, or for approval for a project you may be working on in the marketing department, you can go ahead and create a request directly from your Viva landing and send that off to the respective approver. We also have things that are going to be extremely relevant, again, specifically to the user. So for example, if I were a marketer and I were on my Viva landing page, I would be seeing content that I may have worked on and curated that I am ready to launch. Whereas if a salesperson's in here, they might see some insights about recent deals or contracts that need to be closed and again, set off for approval. And if you're co-collaborating on any particular documents or projects, all of those will appear in here for you as well. We're not seeing too much in the related content section right now because this is, again, a demo. But if we were to be utilizing this to its fullest potential for an organization, we would see any related news posting, any related documents that you have been collaborating on, as well as recommendations from Viva Learning that could be given here as well. If we notice as well, just in the center of the page and at the bottom, we still have a My Recent Documents section here that is again going to aggregate all of the most recent documents that you as the user have accessed, edited, worked on. So rather than having to siphon through all of your files within a document library or search within a document library on SharePoint, you can simply pick up right where you left off directly from your Viva landing page without ever having to move off of this area. You'll also notice there is this news feed, and this news feed functions as it can surface Microsoft news. It can surface news from other sources that you are interested in having included on your page for your company-wide news feed. And you can also curate your own news posts, such as birthdays, announcements, company events. That can all be included here, and that will be visible to everybody that is included with access to this page. So that is really a great way to get out company-wide messaging. If we scroll up to the middle section here as well, just continuing on, we'll notice that we have an all-team calendar function. So this all-team calendar function, if you are an existing partner of Tomorrow's Technology Today, this may be very familiar to you. So again, this is pulling from your Microsoft Teams events and aggregating them all right on the Viva landing page. So you don't have to go into Teams or Outlook to join your meetings. You can see upcoming and past events directly from this page here, and even join and forward off events directly from your calendar. If we scroll up again to the top, just to reiterate the importance of the virtual office, we're keeping those tools you know and love, such as access to your Outlook work calendar, your Teams environment, and Insights. There's a couple of other things that I do want to point out that are new within the My Feed portion as well. So let's just scroll on down a little bit and take a look at this piece here that says Save for Later. So there is a bookmark option that you can select on pieces of content that will appear on your right-hand side feed that, again, is completely personal to the individual user who is viewing it. If you actually go ahead and select that Save for Later piece, it's going to be that little bookmark icon, and it's going to take you to this Saved for Later site portion, or the page, we should say, of Viva that is now aggregating content for you that you have indicated that maybe you don't have time to read it right now, but you'd like to revisit it at a later time. So that is now included directly at the top as an additional link for you to come in and get a chance to revisit any articles, files, topics that you might want to take a look at, and keep persisting across as your Viva landing feed changes. Again, that feed will change day to day based on your work activity as it is powered by AI. So making sure that you just utilize this little bookmark feature here will make sure that those aggregate and persist across the environment for you as the user to view at a later time. And in order to get back and forth between your save for later, rather than actually going ahead and clicking on that bookmark button, if we go ahead over to our Viva landing text here and we click on this link, we're brought back to our page, and we'll notice on that hub navigation at the very top, we have save for later linked here as well. So that is a great way to go about getting to your save for later content. Let's hop back to the main Viva landing quickly. And I just want to also point out that in the past with SharePoint pages, we have included support information to contact your support team at the bottom of the page, which has required you to be a member of the page, to scroll to the bottom, then enter in the email and make a phone call. Well, those days are over. With Viva, we are now aggregating all IT support information at the very top of the header and navigation bar so that users will be able to go ahead and have this persist no matter where they are within Viva if they need support on any particular topic to reach their team. So that is a really cool feature that is now included as well, with the ability to aggregate those links and numbers directly into the bar that will persist all over the site itself. And again, email support is going to be the same rich link. If we were to click this, this would take us directly into an Outlook email drafted with the email configured to be sent off to. And all we would have to do is include our subject and body of the text itself. To get a little bit further into the Viva landing integration, I did say that a Viva site itself is built and fundamentally built off of a communication site in SharePoint, as there are two different kinds of SharePoint sites. There is a team site and there's a communication site. The reason why we're utilizing the communication site for Viva again is because it is allowing to bring in all of those feeds. It's tying in the Viva connections as well as including those newsfeed posts. So this is more of an announcements page and a splash screen, whereas you can still link additional team sites that you may have, document libraries for other things that you may have broken up. So if you notice on our mega menu or hub navigation on the top, we still have links to other team sites within here that are not going to be representative of necessarily that Viva layout. It is very important to note that the Viva landing itself is this one splash screen, and then all of your other content that may exist within your environment may fall underneath that and still hold its same look and feel that you know and love. If we also look under apps, of course, we can attach applications in here for you that you might be utilizing within your organization for ease of access within the hub navigation itself. And of course, an all team file library for you to hop right in and begin collaborating on the tools and tips that you know and love from SharePoint. We also include a direct link to OneDrive, Office 365, and some Microsoft 365 training support. So let's get off of the actual Viva landing page and let's hop into Teams quickly and take a look at some of the integrations that may be included in there as well. And let's hop into My Insights first here. And just give me 1 second because it might give me a little prompt to log back in as my demo tenant here.
I'm just going to say something quick, Michaela. When you went through that dashboard and you had said something about the planner and that being right there on the page, I immediately sent a message to Katie privately in Teams and said, holy cow, I need this. I need that, because that is huge for me. Remembering to go there and look at that isn't always my strongest suit when you have so many things open. So I am very excited about that.
Absolutely, Amy, and thank you for pointing that out. I do have to say internally as well, you know, my organization, we live and breathe Microsoft, but I'm telling you, my whole workflow changed once I finally had my tasks and planner events just aggregated there for me, because I am the worst offender of forgetting to go into my other applications if they're not right there in my face. So to have that feed, it's a lifesaver, and it really does boost productivity immensely. So awesome. Thank you for that. Now we're looking in another feature of Viva, which is Insights. So we were just taking a look at Viva Connections that is incorporated and can be built into a SharePoint landing site. We are now moving into the piece which is called Insights. So Insights is actually integrating with what's called Headspace to bring in reservation time for you to really get work done based off of your workflow. So if you have scheduled meetings, your focus time will never be scheduled over any of your recurring calls or any meetings that may already be on your calendar. So we can see here, it actually aggregates a focus plan for you based off of your workflow. Now, you can see here, we're looking at a demo. I'm not assuming that everyone has 8 out of 10 work days available for focus time, but it does make it really easy, especially if you don't have the time to sit down and plan out time for yourself to really get work done. This will incorporate 1 to 2 hour blocks into your schedule per day where it fits in and flexes to your availability. It really does help you to reduce distractions. So automatically what Insights is going to be doing within the background is turning off and muting your chats. So it's going to put you into focus mode on Teams. If you've ever noticed what it says when you're focusing, you can only receive notifications if they are urgent or they are tagged with an important mark on that particular message as well. So it really does help to kind of put the phone away, put the Teams away for a minute and just focus on, getting those documents done, getting that site built out, and really grind away at all of those really nitty-gritty details that are sometimes difficult to get done while you have the distractions of the day-to-day workflow, as well as messaging, partners and clients just to give them service throughout those hours when you are working. You do also have reflections and improvements that will be recommended to you based on your focus plan for the week ahead. So reflections, essentially what you'll see is going to be a little screen that can ask you to rate how you're feeling on a scale of, not so good, which is a sad smiley face, to a I'm super happy today smiley face. And we'll take a little bit more of a look at that when we actually look at the application with the Teams integration as well. And it only requires you, when you are setting this up, to just sign in with your account one time. And again, this is entirely free as long as you are on a Microsoft 365 license of any kind. Viva is included, and that includes Insights, Learning, and Connections. We'll talk a little bit more about topics as we get closer to the end, as that is a little bit more of an additional cost. You'll see here as well, we get personal insights included on this dashboard. So we can see planning your week, why it matters. And it'll tell you, based off of your booking habits and how your calendar is usually filled up, your calendar is usually less than 30% booked when the week starts. Okay, well, that would tell me off the bat that perhaps I have some more time on Monday and Tuesday to get my really nitty-gritty hard work done that I would like to have focus time set aside for, rather than doing that on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday when I may have more scheduled meetings and need to service my clients or partners. We also see well-being tips. So for non-urgent emails, it's a good practice to save drafts or delay delivery until the recipient's normal business hours. So this will just remind you to take a step back and maybe, just tips based on when you're sending emails, how hard you're working, especially in this hybrid work day and age when we're kind of all working odd hours. This is just sending reminders to you daily based on your habits. Again, that, maybe we shouldn't be sending that email after 5. But you'll see things later on that flex. Again, the more you use it, the more you're going to get very tailored tips to yourself and your particular workflow that will benefit you down the line. You'll also see collaboration tips. So this is interesting because collaboration tips not only will give you, a tip and trick along the way of when to, get into meetings, but if you are somebody who spends 80% of your work in screen share meetings, like someone like myself, I'll commonly see tips that say, maybe you don't have to be on the required line for all of your Teams meetings. Perhaps it could be an optional meeting itself. So it really is pulling in all of the functions of the applications across the Microsoft ecosystem and aggregating it into a very personalized splash screen that's easy to digest and really reset your own well-being. If we also look up here as well, we do have the features called Enable Delay Delivery. So this allows you to enroll in delay delivery to ensure that your emails will always arrive during your coworkers' work hours. So this is just another fail-safe, again, for those that might be hybrid working and they tend to work in off hours, or if you're outside of another time zone and you're looking to respect, let's say I'm in Eastern time and I might be looking to respect somebody in Pacific time. So my 8 a.m. is their 5 a.m. I don't necessarily want to send them an email right at 5 a.m. So I could go ahead and enable delay delivery. So that is now reflecting and respecting my colleagues' time zone. So they'll receive that first thing in the morning and it won't get buried behind other emails that could possibly not be as important as what I'm trying to convey to them themselves.
Michaela, do you know, can you also do that from Outlook?
You can do that from Outlook,
Okay.
and I will get a little bit into the Outlook connection as that is actually being further delayed till November. They did recently take it off, but it will be coming back very shortly.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. If we look under again, so this was just the home splash screen of what we can see from within Viva Insights. If we hop under the personal piece as well here, we're going to, again, I'm going to get prompted to sign in. If you were working on this in your own work environment, you would be single signed in. Again, I am working off of a demo. So now you'll see, we are going to see quite a bit more insight as well as detail on how my work habits are fluctuating throughout the week. And we can see how my work pattern is in the last 4 weeks. So I can see my focus time. Do I have enough uninterrupted time to get my work done? According to this report, I have about 76% of my time to focus and really get quality work done, which means that I am not going to receive notifications during that time again until someone marks a message important or urgent. So I'm not going to be bothered during that specific time. Well-being. So again, are you able to disconnect and recharge? This is asking how many quiet days are you having without interruptions of meetings, emails, chats, or calls outside of your working hours. So this isn't necessarily tracking just your working hours. It's also tracking to make sure that you aren't going over a 9 to 5 typical hour workday. So if you're working 12 hours a day, you will notice that well-being really starts to give some quality insights on how you can improve your workflow and better prepare to give yourself some time to really get things done and check in with yourself. This one here is very crucial and has become a huge, huge benefit within my organization. So network itself, the more you are working and collaborating within your organization or even externally, if you are, let's say, a contractor that might be working with a structural engineer to build, a new construction site, you will be able to see all collaborators that you have worked with. And not only is that going to surface their contact information, but it will surface email exchanges you have had, chat exchanges, document exchanges. So it makes it very easy to get in and out and find those key pieces of information that you are looking to dive deep into and make sure that you're never missing a beat. Collaboration, also kind of building off of your network. So network is really going to display everybody that you are commonly collaborating with. Collaboration is going to really talk about, could your time working with others be more productive? So if perhaps you are in an organization or you have meetings that might be set up to recur on a weekly schedule, maybe you're not getting as much time spent actually working, diligently during that time. And we have to remember Cortana is enabled across all of Viva, and she's listening whether we like it or not. So she does take into account if a meeting is productive or if it's not productive, and we'll give suggestions about collaboration time. So again, going back to that 1 hour time block, she might come back and say, this could actually be a 30-minute meeting broken up and be very much more productive for your workflow, which will then free up more focused time for you to get that nitty-gritty work done, as we were talking about before. And as we go through each and every piece here, you can really explore your daily breakdown. You can explore your daily collaboration habits, all of the people that you collaborate with. And again, that's how you would see more granular detail and documentation on what's going on within that network. And then this is how you can come right in here and book more focus time as well. Of course, Megan Bowen apparently has a lot of time to focus, so she must be a really productive lady we're looking at here. If we scroll down at the very bottom as well, we're on the personal view of this. And let's just also, before we go too deep into these three here, if you are familiar and you've been with Microsoft products for quite some time now, you might have noticed if you're utilizing all of the applications within your waffle when you view all apps, that you've seen something in the past called My Analytics or even Delve. So essentially now Viva Analytics / Viva Insights has been the facelifted version of My Analytics, but it's still aggregating all of those analytics about workflow that we know and love, and now bringing it into a much easier to digest and schedule out platform itself. So we'll notice under here, we do have productivity insights. So we have the ability to come in here. We can plan our week, view suggestions about planning it. This is very helpful, especially if you've got a tough week coming up and you need to find some time for yourself to really just sit down, relax, and make sure that you can get all the work done for the week ahead that you are needing to complete. For your well-being tips, you'll also see these here as well. So again, this is discussing, again, for non-urgent emails, it's a good practice to save drafts or delay delivery into the recipient's normal business hours. And these tips and tricks will flex and change as the week progresses, as you use it more, and as you build up your collaboration habits once Viva Connections is enabled. We'll also see here as well, we'll get tips regarding research across the Microsoft environment as well. And these will also change based on, when you've read them. If you want to view more of them, you can go under more research. And this one here is just telling us, small and short meetings are more conducive to decision-making as they prompt attendees to communicate faster and focus on getting the work done. So again, that also ties into the collaboration piece where we may be getting recommendations from Cortana to shorten those weekly recurring meetings that we have on our schedule that might be taking up some quality focused time for us. And then we'll also see, so now that we are in the personal side of the My Analytics, Viva Insights portion, we can now break it down pretty granularly by focus. If we look under focus, we can see all of the trends that we have available in a nice graphical display, as well as in a pie chart. So what we'll see here is, want focus time every day? You can automatically reserve specific amounts of time for yourself. So personally, I let Cortana pick my focus time for me, because I'm not always sure when I'm necessarily going to be booked for a screen share session, but I need to ensure that I have at least 1 hour a day for myself to complete any tasks or done for you tickets that might be coming through in my system in particular. So you do have the ability, if you have that flexibility with your calendar, and you can choose to say, I want to have my coffee and get this paper written from 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning with nobody emailing me. Well, they'll still be emailing you, but no notifications from those emails, no notifications from Teams. You can do that. But you can also allow, again, Cortana and the AI to take over and just go ahead and block that time from within your calendar for yourself. And we'll take a look at that once we hop into the Teams as well. So we'll see how the insights, again, are integrating with Teams throughout that entire experience. We'll also see you do get weekly averages, again, just giving another breakdown of how much uninterrupted time you have to get your work done. So we'll see a 4-week trend. And again, you can change this trend from your global settings as well, if you would only like to see, maybe your last 2 weeks. But 4 weeks is pretty good to get an idea of how you're working within a month. So that is why it's defaulting to 4 weeks. So we'll see here, clearly, my light green is going to be the time that I have available to focus. And then the teal color here is going to display my collaboration time. So this is suggesting that this particular account, Megan, has quite a bit of time that is available to focus. She's only collaborating about 25% of the week within her meetings. Let's say 24. So that's a really healthy workflow that we are seeing here. And again, we'll see more tips and tricks and plans across the board that get more granular as we move into specific topics such as focus, well-being, and network. So if we look under well-being as well, we're also going to see, again, a more graphical report of how many days you have available to actually focus, with a little bit more information than what we were seeing on the home screen itself. And again, it is very simple to enable. Once you get in here for the first time, you can just simply hit try it out. And that will then prompt you to just either log in with your credentials, or you'll be single signed on if you're already using a Microsoft Work account. We'll see all of our quiet days, suggesting that we do have time to either disconnect and recharge. Or if we have a lack of quiet days, we're going to see some recommendations that get freed up in this insight section here that will then recommend how you could possibly give yourself some more time and really take control of your schedule so that you're able to keep up with your well-being and your workflow as a whole. If we look under network, now this might look a little sparse right here because again, we are on a demo account. I wish I could see some people in here, but on my personal Viva network analytics that I see, I'm commonly collaborating with my director of business development, the sales managers. So you'll see everybody within here that you are constantly emailing, Teams messaging, sharing files with, co-collaborating with on files, whether it be in SharePoint or in a OneDrive draft that you may have invited them to as well. And you'll see that you can actually filter these collaborators by active, external users, new collaborators if they were recently added to the environment or recently added to a particular document or folder they're working on you with, and important. So important would pretty much show people that you are consistently working with. They might be someone that you're answering to within your organization's hierarchy. So this is a really great tool to see really how many times a day, how many hours you spend with these specific people collaborating, which again can also benefit you down the line, not only to realize, okay, this is who I'm working with, this is how my work's flowing. But if you are, for example, collaborating with somebody that might be hiring you for your services, you can now come in here and view under external and see how many hours that week you spent working with them and get a granular report of all of that time in the exchange that you truly had with them as a whole. So lots to take a look at here, lots to get into. And then again, as well as the important pieces as well. So let's say we added some of our external users that could be working with us on a particular job that we're getting done for them. This will remind you to keep up with your important contacts. And what this section here is actually going to do is surface any unread emails or reminders of tasks that you may not have completed for this person that they could be either assigned to it with you or assigned it for you. So an example of this would be, again, we're bringing in the tasks piece of it here. If someone in your hierarchy divvied up a task, assigned it to you and said by, 3/2/22, I need this, and this done. If we're at that date or even a couple of days before, you'll start to see little messages here to recommend that you follow up on that and that you can jump right into the task directly from your dashboard and then start working on it as well. And again,
I love that, Michaela.
it's great. It was so fantastic. It reminds me, it's just like another piece of the puzzle on top of all of it.
I was just going to say that's a nice piece for like people like myself who, I've got a lot of different tasks going on. I know everyone does, but I mean, with marketing director, like I've got all the different people, right? And then all the different other organizations I'm working with, like to have that reminder of an email that might have been missed or something that's coming up that it's like a small task, but it needs done. I love that. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. And the unread email portion has been the biggest blessing in disguise. And I feel your pain, Amy, because I work in marketing too myself. And there are times, I'm sure you've been there, where we get spammed with all sorts of different emails that will just pile on top. So for that to really be, removed from the equation and to just have this filtering capability that is done for you with AI is just slice of heaven.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits of the insights portion. And of course, now, again, we're seeing all of my lovely Microsoft Contoso environment recommended important people. And this is a great example that we can get into now. So when you are first configuring Viva, if you are looking to mark someone as important, all you'll do, and let me just zoom in here, is star their name. And now they are going to pop up under your important contacts. And it's suggesting that per week, I'm spending about 16 hours with Christy Klein. And if I want to view details, I would be able to, if I were working with a real person and not a bot in this case, we would see read percent. So how often is she reading my messages? How quickly is she responding to my emails, my chats? So it's really great just to follow up on anything quickly. if you're looking to get in contact with these people that are really important. And this kind of ties in, Katie, to what you were mentioning about Outlook. So one of the pieces of the Outlook integration that will be coming in is this mark as important piece. So let's say you're emailing somebody and you haven't quite gotten them into the full ecosystem yet, but you know that you need to make contact with them. So on their email, there will be the ability to actually select the star, and they will automatically be added to your Insights dashboard, which is phenomenal. If we look further into this collaboration piece here, again, we're just going to get some more information. And this is my favorite part, is checking the meeting habits. So you'll be able to see, based on pretty much how you are functioning within a Teams meeting, high attendance, no emails or chats during the meeting, during work hours, online meetings joined on time, did it have a Skype or a Teams link, invitations sent with at least a 1 day's notice, and sent with an agenda. So you'll actually get scored higher on your percentages based on how you make these meetings accessible for your attendees as well. So if you are sending an invitation at the last minute, you can expect to see a lower rank, but if you're pre-planning, you're going to get praised for that within Insights as well. Of course, there are times we need impromptu meetings, but then as you again build and build and build, you'll be able to see your weekly recurring meetings, as well as any of your impromptu meetings, to basically divvy up how that workflow is functioning, as well as, ways that you could improve upon it in the future, not only for yourself, but for your client's experience. So we're not seeing too much here in our communication habits, but essentially we would see some analytics here regarding how you function inside your emails and chats, how often you reply, your response time, your typical, if you have like a typical sincerely, things that you can just plug and chug directly into an email. So you'll start to see those populate within your communication habits section under the collaboration portion of the Viva Insights as well. So since we've really gone through Viva Insights, I want to hop into the Teams portion of this as well, just so we can really see how this connection all ties in. So let me just go ahead into Teams, and I'm going to cancel and use the web app instead. We're going to select Megan. And in just a second, we are going to have a full-fledged Teams environment to take a look at and explore how these applications with Viva really tie into the user experience. This is when I wish we had elevator music. Alrighty, so we are looking at a demo version of Teams. We can see here that we are brought directly into the general channel of the landing team because we were just on our Viva landing. So now we are brought directly to the team that is associated with that SharePoint site. And just to reiterate, as I always like to over and over again, Teams and SharePoint are the backbone of one another, which really ties together that file sharing experience, as well as accessibility across the board to access those files. Your sites, resources, applications that exist within SharePoint should also persist within Teams. So that really gives you the ability to work wherever, whenever, and whatever feels comfortable with you specifically. So we're going to take a look at a couple of these buttons here. We're going to focus primarily on Viva Connections as well as Viva Insights. We're not going to go too deeply into meeting capture today, but if we are interested in getting some more information on that in the future, we will. That's more of a late November rollout for everybody that is on and listening. There are still many features that will be coming out within Viva throughout all of 2022, as it is now going to be the newest framework for SharePoint, for Teams, and Microsoft ecosystem as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead over here on my navigation, and I'm going to hit Viva Connections over here. And what we're going to see is this is the connections. As we said, Viva Landing. It's going to bring us directly into the context of that Viva Landing page without even having to open up my browser, go into office.com, sign in, find my page. It's now all accessible within Teams. So it really is bringing in that experience of work from anywhere, depending on what's comfortable to you as the user. For me personally, I work out of Teams every single day, but I do know people and my own colleagues that like to work on SharePoint or work directly out of their desktop. So it is entirely up to you on how you access these particular resources. Let me just go ahead and dismiss this little notification here so we can see everything. So we get a full-fledged experience of SharePoint right from within Teams without even having to leave the context of the Teams application. What we'll notice also, if we go under Viva Insights. So Viva Insights, this is going to tie in that dashboard that we just went through in granular detail within the actual Insights app. But this is actually going to give me a much more fun and exciting view of this particular piece called Insights, rather than actually looking at all the granular graphical information. So this is where, if you're working in Teams, you're chatting, you're on a meeting, you will receive notifications once Insights is enabled at the end of the day, suggesting that it's time to wind down. So about 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, I receive a wind down notification that tells me it's almost time to stop working. You will ask if you have reflections enabled, which is what we're looking at over here with asking me, how are you feeling on a scale of really good to very bad? You'll be asked periodically, how are you feeling? Rate how you are doing today. And then you'll actually be able to go in and view that trend over time. So you can see how that month went for you based on your working habits and whether you need to make any changes for yourself for your own well-being. We'll also notice it does give really cute little, tips and fun messages just to brighten up your day a little bit while we're all working from home or hybrid, however you're utilizing Teams. It's always fun to see some praise in there. Activities for you. So this is very specific to everybody that is included within your organizational environment. So praise to your colleagues. So of course, with like the whole hybrid work from home environment, it's been a lot more difficult to show our gratitude to our coworkers that have collaborated with us and really done an excellent job. So what we can do in here is send praise to our colleagues. And when you're sending praise, you can either send this to a name, specifically a name, or you can send it to an entire team. And you've got a few choices on where you can, what you want to send them. Were they courageous, optimistic, inclusive? And you can even go ahead and set a reminder for yourself to recognize your colleagues on either a daily, a weekly basis, however you want to go ahead and divvy that up. But I think that is really beneficial. And it just puts a little smile on people's faces when they've been working so hard. So that's a really fun piece here. We do it all the time internally when someone completes a great project. If we go back, let's also just for fun, below here as well, you do have your little received piece here and your sent piece. So if I sent any praise, I'd be able to see a track record of who and why I praised them, as well as looked at received to see when I had received praise myself. So just some fun stuff that can be, thought out and utilized for many other things in the future, in addition to just kind of giving a little heads up to your colleagues as well. You do also have this feature here. So this is built directly in with Headspace. This is taking a break for mindfulness exercises. So now there's actual breathing exercises that are built right into your Teams environment. So if you've got a bad day, you've got guided breathing exercises located right within here for yourself. So if I were to hit start, this is going to ask me to breathe according to the recommended psychological, 3579, whatever that breathing is here. But it's fun. It'll bring up a little video here, ask you to breathe with it. And if that's not enough for you and you want to take some more time, you can go into more mindfulness exercises. And there's a whole library of things that you can do to bring those stress levels down. So this is great. I really like to use this before I start a webinar or a particular meeting that I know is going to require a lot of my energy, just to quickly recenter and focus. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it really does help. If we look also, we see our top actions for today. So this is tying in again to the people that you collaborate with most, people that you've marked important, bringing in your tasks, reminding you to follow up on a particular email. So this is again going to allow you to mark things as important. And now if I were particularly, I know this isn't really a great email example, but let's say, this was Katie who was staying connected with me. If I marked her as important, now, even if I'm focusing and I know that she's important, I'm going to receive notifications from her despite me being in focus time, because she was marked as important and is now deemed somebody that is being connected with me on a daily basis while we're either working on a project or collaborating together. Protect time. This is the very important piece that we were talking about here, to book focus time for yourself, to allow yourself to have an hour, between 1 to 4 hours, if you have it available on your calendar, to go ahead and book the time for yourself to just be unbothered by any notifications and really get granular work done. And again, just to reiterate, this can be configured using just the AI through Cortana, or if you have the ability to set your own schedule and manage how your 9 to 5 hours work, you can take any hour in the day that you would choose to use and repeat that throughout your entire workflow. On this dashboard as well, our Microsoft To-Do, so our tasks are going to be aggregated here. And this is not just aggregating my tasks specifically, but any tasks that have been assigned to me or that I am collaborating on with team members or even external users that might have added me to a task. So that is super helpful. And you get a little message when you're all caught up on your day-to-day that you're all caught up. And if I weren't caught up, I would see little reminder bells with direct links to get right into my planner and open it up right within the context of Teams itself. All righty. So another thing, just to kind of go into Outlook a little bit before we kind of start closing out and asking some questions. I know Katie had mentioned Outlook. So Viva, once it's enabled as well, will send you an email about your daily rundown and your weekly rundown as well. And that can be configured however you choose. If you're someone that appreciates getting a daily report before your day starts, while you're having your coffee, having a little breakfast, you can see, how many hours you're spending in meetings that day, when you should take your time to breathe, so on and so forth. So I receive one every single week on a Monday. It tells me what my week looks like, what to expect, when I'll have the most time available to really work on those granular projects. So that's really helpful as well. So you can expect those emails to be delivered to you by Viva directly to your work Outlook on either a weekly or a daily basis, depending on how you want that configured. And there are some other pieces that will be tying into Outlook as well, but that will be coming in about Q3. So we'll expect to see some more on its way. Katie and Amy, anything else particularly that we can talk about and touch on before we call it an hour?
So Michaela, kind of as you were walking through, what came to mind was all the people that have a manager that schedule their time, or, they really like to have the meetings or things like that. I guess kind of how can the employee kind of customize Viva to their advantage and kind of, make the manager realize like, oh my gosh, like this is exhausting, I need, that they need that time to just kind of breathe. And like you said, just kind of put those tools to use. I absolutely love that Mindspace is in there, but I can see people, that are workaholics that are like, oh, we have to get this done. Whereas other people are like, I just want to be more mindful of what I'm doing and, make it the best, kind of own it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to answer that, in addition to being able to export your monthly reports, daily reports on how you're feeling, really following those trends, at a global level, when all of these settings are configured, you can actually have reports based on your schedule. Again, if you're referring to people who have managers, if their schedule is super bogged down, notifications can be sent to actually send a report of what their weekly breakdown looks like. And then it kind of triggers some bells within the manager's mind, like, oh, we might be overwhelming our coworkers here. Maybe we should be giving them a day, that has a couple hours blocked off for them. So they can have that ability to divvy that out for them, as well as just to have reports emailed to them on a weekly basis as well.
Perfect.
Awesome.
It's a great tool.
It is exceptional, and it's only going to go up from here. I can't wait to see what comes out with the Outlook integrations and topics. And just to touch briefly on topics, because I don't actually have a live demo version of it as it is very new. But topics, again, I did mention was a little bit more of an additional cost. Just to break it down, insights, connections, and learning is all included as long as you have a Microsoft 365 license of any kind. However, topics is going to be $5 per user per month. And essentially what it's going to do, again, it's another AI feature where Cortana is going to surface all of your most talked about topics within your organization. So say you are a cybersecurity focused organization, you'll have a whole topic listed on your landing site with cybersecurity that has all the emails, all the documents, all the supporting information and your contacts listed within that topic. If you are somebody who focuses more heavily on sales and there's commonly sales and marketing content there, that topic will be adjusted for you as well. So all of your content is then surfaced there. And just to reiterate, that is $5 per user per month. And we're hoping for some more integration further down the line where they just include it with the whole Viva package.
Do you happen to know, is that something, I mean, if you're like a landscaping company and you're like, there's no way I'm going to have time for training, you know, like during their busy season, that you can kind of turn it off and on kind of as you get a chance? You know?
Specifically with topics?
Yeah.
I am,
you know, if
not
you're like,
sure.
oh, I'd like to save the $5 per month per user. Okay.
I guess you could if you unassigned the license to that particular user. Not everyone would have to be licensed, but it would only surface for those that were. So if it were those that were only functioning, let's say, you know, summer to winter, and then they had, you know, winter and part spring off, yeah, you could unlicense them, but those insights would possibly go away and not be restored. So I'd have to get some more information on that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sweet. Well,
alrighty.
This was fantastic. Thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much.
you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This was really fun. And as more information comes up about Viva, we'll be sure to keep you in the loop. And again, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to doing another one of these soon.
All right.
Yes,
Thank you so much,
absolutely.
Kayla.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks
Bye,
everyone
everybody.
for joining. See ya.
Bye.